and renewed traditions of the Mustang Band, as well as say goodbye to a special group of people. And before we go any further, I'd just like to thank, we get to do this, I'd like to thank Dee Lucas and all the women in the back that put together the meal that we ate. And I would also like to thank, you guys show up every year and the place is just, it's really, really nice. The decorations are beautiful. The cards that you have on your table are pretty clever. I was trying to figure that out during dinner, but I still haven't figured that out. So I want to thank the person that chaired the decorating committee and came up with all these ideas. I want to thank Mrs. Deb Rubin. And the rest of the committee, the gals that helped, even in the smallest way. Mrs. Wheatley, Mrs. Myhill, Mrs. Hoffman, Mrs. Ballard, Mrs. Grimes, and Mrs. Snyder. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome our guests over here to my left. As always, I'm very grateful for their continued support, although I don't get to say it as much as I know I probably should. Without their support, we would not be able to all the trip and travel all the fall season and be able to have 2 winter guards and twirlers and dance ensemble, percussion ensemble. I mean, the list goes on, and I think sometimes, including myself, we take it for granted. So hopefully you're very appreciative that you have support the way you do, because we constantly hear horror stories about how other schools, they can't do this. The band can't go out because there's no money. You've seen the bands in New York that didn't even have uniforms. They marched in shorts, which doesn't come in really handy, especially in New York when it was about 30 degrees out. So I'd like to recognize all of our guests, starting with the head honcho, our superintendent that runs the entire school district, Superintendent Galante. Thank you for coming. Newly appointed, just recently, Assistant Superintendent, and another big supporter of everything you kids do, Mrs. Elvie Swazi. And at the high school, obviously all you see, to make sure everything runs smoothly. So I want to introduce Mr. Wes Pickard. And although he couldn't be here, wanted to be here, I do want to acknowledge Kay, as you call him, but Mr. Krasinski. It's always difficult because we share so many kids with athletics, and I've always been fortunate, as I was with Mr. Graff, to work with an athletic director that's willing to try to be flexible so that we don't have to battle things out. So I just would like to acknowledge Mr. Krasinski and all the help that he's provided this year too. And on to the middle school, the principal there in his first year, and obviously I miss him tremendously. They just don't show up and say, oh, I want to interview the band. And she's done a tremendous job. I'm going to put a plug in for her husband, the air horns, all right? Mr. Smalley liked that, by the way. We can do the air horn for him, you appreciate that. Our publicity chairperson, Kathy Greitz. Then we have 4 delegates, which get assigned random duties, and again, the list it just goes on and on and on and on. The first one I'd like to acknowledge, and even though he's a Yankees fan, we'll start with him, Mr. John McHugh. Our next delegate, and you see her chaperoning, and she's everywhere, and I'm sure she will be for a long time because she has another child coming through, Miss Lisa Nora. That's the good part. I'm going to start with the newest addition to our staff. I was thrilled. I always saw him on the sideline with Eastridge, and nothing against the Eastridge program. That always bothered me because he's a Medina person at heart. Tremendous talent. Did an incredible job with the pit. He worked with the trash set players, the jazz band. and gave them lessons at his home, charged no money for it. Did an incredible job at Oak Orchard this year, and he will be back, and he's just tremendous. I'm glad he's back on our team. Mr. Andrew Mark. Sure.
Bring in the trash.
Back for his second year, and another tremendous asset because he does a lot of things. Obviously, works with Pitt. He writes solos for jazz band, which you probably are not aware of. He does a lot of.
Stand up, and we'll clap at the end. First, we'll start with field band. Yes, this is 100% for field band only. Melissa Yeager, John Lewis Payne, Brittany Markle, Adam Heldenfeld, Andrew Zelani, Scott Allen, Andrew Inko, Derek Roberts, Marshall Hand, Taylor Allen, Evan Swires, Ellison Whitby, Jesse Pass, Rory Parker, Josh Wheeler, Matt Klein, Hillary Smith, Brianna Watts, Holly Smith, and Danielle Freeman. Next is street band. Brianna Steiner, Kent White, Rachel Lachevsky, Caitlin Dent, Kim Vidal, Courtney Furness, Anna Martin, Stacy Stevenson, Kelly Jo Pritchard, Sarah Doberstein, Aaron Toussaint, Brooke Canham, Eric Meeks, Ashton Watts, Adrian Kazodi, Jamin Knowlton, Drew Ogden, Mark Bryan, Aaron Kyle, Jenna Ivero, Alex Pass, Ashley Dawson, Lindsay Regal, Aaron McHugh, Megan Tuttle, Roxanne Perkins, Claire Higgs, Alina Bella, Aubrey Fortunato, Rebecca Kraus, Lynn Zinkovich, Elizabeth Kruhoff, Lizzie Toohey, Jenna Gilman, Samantha Baker, and Kelsey Whitney. And now this is perfect attendance for both, and this is a big one. Joy Knowlton, Kayla Sircone, Margarita Molina, Kristen Hill, Brittany Snyder, Rachel Heiler, Stephanie Moran, Rachel Doberstein, Jordan Pritchard, Ashley Stawicki, Maggie Moriarty, Kaylee Farah, Katie Graff, Kelly Castricum, Kelsey Allen, Amanda Grant, Emma Crossett, Anna Oak, Kayla Bradley, James Dorfman-Eastchuk, Justin Myhill, Jesse Winsack, Isabella Petroboni, Jonathan Ivero, Ashley Morgan, Scott Lovell, Bridget Lachevsky, Trisha Glass, Kevin Snyder, Keith Payne, Kayla Evans, Margaret Barber, Beth Sala, Emily Furness, Arthur Gratton, Katie Crossett, Ben Bentley, Matt Toussaint, Brandon Norrick, Hillary Hoop, Frank Bennett, Brennan Stacy, Ryan Anderson, Clark Squires, Caitlin Miller, Keith Gilman, Nathan Fox, Mike Mishra, Zach Reed, Ryan Thompson, David Gray, Eric Whalen, Kyle Regal, Jacob Kepler, Lucas Hausman, Sawyer Green, Alex Graff, Kelsey Canham, Zach Bush, Heather Riker, Caitlin Fearby, Amanda Kruhoff, Lisa Houston, Kira Clark, Jenna Keller, Ashley Bingaman, Kelsey Highland, and Julie Baker.
On to rank competition. Since you all came forward, we'll start. We had 3 competitions, and basically what we did for each one, we picked a drummer, a flag, a rifle, a brass rank, and a woodwind rank. All right, we had all 3 of those. And I'll start with night number 1. Just stand. You will have the double disc coupon, which will be in your folder at the end of the night. Night number 1, the drummer that won, Mark Grimes. The flag was Amanda Fruhoff. Rifle was, yes, you can say. The rifle was Ashley Dawson. Brass rank, and these are just last names, Delaney, Hand, Inko, Evans, Norick, and Watts. And the woodwind rank, Snyder, Crosset, Canham, Payne, Martin, and Pritchard. Night number 2, and it got ugly at night number 2. Yeah. Drummer, and again, just please stand, Matt Klein. Flag was Alina Bellick. Rifle was once again Ashley Dawson. The brass rank that won was Markle, Furness, Barber, Evans, Stella, Meats, and Roberts. And the woodwind rank that night that won was Knowlton, Pass, Lashevsky, Yeager, Dent, Hill, and Chacon. And then night number 3, it got really nasty. The highlight of the night was Dangerous Sexy Tattoo Man. Where is it? There he is. You're never going to forget that, I know you're not. And I'm never doing that voice again either. No. We had some repeats here. Night number 3, drummer was once again Mark Grimes. The flag was Katie Fearby. Rifle, Ashley Dawson. The brass rank, Blount, Bush, Squires, Bennett, Ogden, Whitby, and Goodman. Woodwind rank, take it off with the management. Woodwind, Moran, Cooper, Furness, Moriarty, Farah, Allen, and Doberstein. Next, we're going to hand out the Northeast Color Guard Championship medals that our regional guard took. The regional A Color Guard or JV Guard obviously had another successful season, finishing 3rd place with the bronze medal. And instead of just handing these to you in the chaos of the floor, I thought it'd be nice to give it to you tonight because you obviously deserve recognition for your accomplishments. On the back, it has the year and the place, and on the front of the bronze medallion it says Northeast Color Guard Circuit. So, this I would like you girls to come up and receive from Ms. Norm. I'm going to kind of go through these floats. I'm going to be ambushed here. Maggie Moriarty, Lisa Hewsome, Kaylee Farah, and because she put in a tremendous amount of work to fill a hole that doesn't happen, I'm still going to give her the medal, Margarita Molina. Scholarships. The New York State Field Band Conference has a scholarship fund that every member of the conference can participate in. The annual scholarship is given to one member of each band and is selected by the band director. This year's winner has been a member of the band for 6 years. This year he stepped up to the podium as the drum major. This fall he will continue his musical journey by attending Monroe Community College to major in music education. Obviously he's been a tremendous asset to the program and we truly missed. This year's winner of the $250 scholarship is Arthur Grant. Our other scholarship, the Mustang Band Booster Memorial Scholarship. Every year, the Mustang Band Boosters award a scholarship to a senior who is planning on entering the field of music in college. The criteria for the scholarship includes dedication to one's instrument, dedication to the program, and completion of one semester of undergraduate work. The recipient is chosen by a committee and recommended by the band director. This year's recipient will be attending Nazareth College to pursue a degree in music education next fall. The winner of the $250 Mustang Band Booster Scholarship is Brittany Snyder. On to our Outstanding Band Member Awards. And I say this every year, and I know it sounds like a broken record, and until you're in my position, you'll never understand how difficult it is to try to pick 12 people out of 150. If you do receive one of these, you should take it as a tremendous honor, because obviously you've done something to stand out, and that can be very difficult to do in a large group like this, especially when you all wear the same uniform. It's very difficult to stand out. We're going to start with our Outstanding Rookie Awards, and if you can come up to the podium to take these. Starting with the color guard, Kira Clark. Actually, Nora will hand out the card once of that, and then we'll go from there. Kira, did he give you the right one? Most improved guard. And I let Nora pick this. And after I watched for the weekend, I was like, wow, she's definitely right. Just an incredible smile that lights up the gymnasium, all the time. Never have to ask her to do it. And she's just, I call her the little rock star. She's like a rock star. She's got the glasses and the ponytails and all sorts of stuff. I just made myself look old, didn't I? Because you don't know what Punky Brewster is, do you? Nope. Great. Wonderful. Most improved color guard, Lizzie Toohey. Really difficult one. Obviously, with 11 seniors, we tried to pick that out. We picked someone that we thought has just an overall package. Just great performance, an incredible spirit. I mean, she's never down, even though you constantly rip on her. That didn't give it away. I mean, and I just, the other day, someone was like, and she's not offended by this, so I'm not saying anything mean. Oh, she looks like a lumberjack. I was like, no, she does not look like a lumberjack. And she's like, no, it's okay, I do. Like, okay. Hey. But I mean, just an overall great spirit, and I don't think any of the other seniors would argue with this, because she just always brings positive attitude to everything. Most valuable color guard, Diana Baker. The Percussion Awards. And some of these will be somewhat shocking, but that's okay. We feel totally comfortable with the decisions that have been made with us. Rookie percussion. And it's not often you have a senior that's a rookie, but I'm so glad we did have her, and just did a tremendous job. And I'll talk about it later. Shows up at band camp, and if any of you doubted her intentions with band, by Wednesday, she was the only fit person with all of her music memorized. And I believe we gave her a round of applause, and I stood at the tower, and I was like, doesn't it feel good to prove people wrong? And she just kind of like, yeah. So our outstanding rookie percussion is Alex Pass. Most improved. I can remember back to lessons, and he showed up one day, and I couldn't keep up. That's never a good thing for me. When all of a sudden the student passes me, it happens. And all of a sudden I was I got to start practice. And I had to practice to keep up. And, you know, I watched him over the weekend. Just fits right in there with our very best snare players. He's done a tremendous job. Even though you do those little weird dances all the time, they freak me out. But just, this guy is going to definitely be a featured player in the years to come. Most improved percussion, Eric Whalen. River dance? You give me the river dance? No? Maybe eight?
How come we never see those, Eric?
Oh, you did it. That's not the whole thing. I'll let you go. You know that's not the whole thing, right? You know I'm behind the back seat, you can stand right behind you. That's all right. Most valuable percussion. Again, the same criteria we use for the guy. We look at just overall spirit. Who do you not want to be without when you go to a show? Who is just infectious with positive attitude, never misses practice. And it was kind of weird over the last two parades. We didn't write any cymbal music, but all the cymbal parts he wrote himself, and they like fit perfectly. And he's like, dude, he's like, dude, he's like, dude. He's like, I didn't write the cymbal parts. It sounds pretty good. So I started listening. I was like, whoa, it is pretty good. But and I don't think any of you will argue it. Just spirit. That's what it comes down to. Most valuable percussion, Jake Kepler. Obviously, it's always difficult because rookies start out in the pit, which a lot see as a demotion, and that's not it at all. The pit is just tremendously important to what we do. It was the Corny E show in those speeches. And without any of us being able to get to him, he just instantly solved the whole problem, which I thought was tremendous. I think he was 12, 13, and for a 12-year or 13-year-old to figure out on his own. I won't go into the whole story, but he really saved the show that night. It's such a critical show during the season, and he's a tremendous clarinet player. Best rookie woodwind, Liam Cooper. Strictly lessons. I tried to use marching band, like you guys all march well, and I think about who put the time in on the instrument, who spends time in the practice room, when everyone else goes home or screwing around the band room, trying to toss the little bottles into the garbage can. She blew me away at her audition. She got like 108, and I never expected it. And it's just absolutely one of the best flute players we have now. So I chose for most improved woodwind Margarita Molina. All of you sat through the performance of that, and how often do you just want to get up and like scream and yell after a solo and win that sound? I mean, you could always hear like the starting of it. Like people wanted to go nuts, and I think Norton got like, choked up, and Mr. Clark got choked up on the trip they were like. I mean, the solo, I'm never going to forget you playing that solo, and just an incredible, incredible musician. Most valuable woodwind, Steph Marie. Did another tremendous job because if you're put in the pit, you basically have to learn another instrument and start all over. And that's a difficult task. And he did that. Then he went onto the street, struggled at first, and then it was like 2 weeks ago, he was like, look, I mean, it finally clicks with something. It always clicks with everybody. And I was like, the kid's got it. He's going to be golden. Just a huge, monstrous sound. And he's going to be fantastic. Outstanding rookie brass, Zach Bush. faucet. I remember looking down and he had a symbol on his head. He was just standing there. I saw it. I let it go. Most improved brass. And this one just kind of popped up out of nowhere. He's very quiet, very humble, doesn't brag about what he can do. We were in concert band one day, and I believe we were playing Crown Shaker Hands. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this kid rips this high note. And I'm going on. I was like, that did not just come from one of the concert band. And I looked over, and I go, is that you? And the kid's range is incredible, and he's putting the work to do it. And boy, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to hear him in 2 years' time. Most improved brass, Jamie Knowlton. Tremendous brass musicians, just year after year after year. I went all the way back to 3rd grade, and the conversation went something like, it was Mr. Snyder, the mom, this kid, members of the 5, old age. And I remember the conversation being, what do you want me to play? Not, this is what I want to play, what do you want me to play? And he said, just taking a shot in the dark, thinking, oh, she'll never agree this. 2. Okay. I mean, that's just incredible, just to go up to a band director and say, what do you want me to play? And has been a tremendous musician. And again, you don't hear a lot about her because we don't feature tubas, like we do the clarinets and we do the trumpets and things of that sort. But just a tremendous, tremendous tuba player who's going to be truly missed. So, most valuable brass, Caitlin Miller. I'm going to present one, Mr. Hoffman, and Ms. Norris going to get one. I'm going to let Mr. Hoffman go first.
The great thing about picking Director's Award, for me anyway, is it's kind of like a double-edged sword. At the same time, there's, it's so hard to pick one kid, but which is tough, but if you think about it again, it's like it's great that I have to make a decision, that I have so many choices. That's the best part of this program, is that when, you always have one more kid that's going to step up to the plate, and you know that's always going to happen. You know that when the class of seniors leagues up, you want people to take over. That's already starting to show in some of our youngest members here. And, I thought about this, and, man, my Director's Award, I remember the first day when he walked into my room, he's like, hey, Mr. Hoffman. I was like, I didn't know who the kid was. Didn't know who he was. I don't know how he knew who I was. And he's like, are there 2 players? Can I play tuba? And he says he wants to play tuba. I was like, yes, awesome, because there are no tuba players in the middle school. And I said, all right, well, we'll have a lesson. And we'll see how tuba works out for you. And he came back a couple days later. He had his first tuba lesson. And after his first lesson, I was saying, okay, we'll do the last lesson next week.
About 3 years ago. So she hasn't had, all the years that the other seniors have. And again, she's always gotten kind of overlooked for one reason or another. She's not, the big boisterous girl that likes to dance around and, make jokes and all that kind of thing. She's very, very quiet, which is a good thing. And I think this year she and I kind of have grown closer than before, and it's a good thing, but in a way it's a bad thing because I know now that I have not had enough time with her yet, and I don't want her to go. And before I start getting mushy, I'm going to end this. And I think one thing I want to say about her before I end, one of my rules is that I always need to know if you're going to be at practice or not, and some girls tell me, some girls don't, which is fine. But I think I know where this girl is, even when she's sleeping. I think anytime she's at work, or she's going to be late for whatever reason, I know about it. Whether it's usually through email or anything, something like that. I always know where she is. And some of the emails are, it's just very nice of her to do that, to give me that courtesy and that kind of respect, to do what I ask. And she just wrote me an email a couple days ago after quorum that really, really touched me. And I never expected it. And I'm not going to embarrass her by going into it, but it was just very special to me. And I already knew I was going to give this award to her, but that just capped it off for me. And like I said, I haven't had enough time with her, and she's going to be truly, truly missed. And my director's award goes to Roxanne Curry.
They do for unselfish reasons, knowing full well that they're not going to get credit for it. But in the end, they are going to get credit for it because I'm going to recognize it. We had a falling out at some point, and sometimes it's necessary to move forward is to take a few steps back, and we did. And he left extremely mad at me, and I left mad at him. But it's like water under the bridge now. He took on the task of creating the website, and for those of you that saw it, he did an incredible job in getting that in shape. And he put hours and hours and hours on this thing. And every time he'd come back to school, he had more of it done. And I was like, this is cool. And he'd bring more, and there was more of it done. And you know, it wasn't his position. His name's not on it. And you know, I even know that he put it together. And he's going to be working on a new one, which will hopefully be up soon. So I'm going to recognize him for that. My director's award goes to David Gray. So that would be fall, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring. Winter does not count. I've tried to get as accurate records as possible, and we've been working on this for 3 years to try to get this accurate, because none of it was left to me. If I've made a mistake, as I have in the past 2 years, please let me know, and I will fix it immediately tomorrow for you and get you what you have coming to. All these awards are in your folders, and I would ask that you stand when I call your name. The first service award is for members who have completed 6 seasons of marching band, and that's the band pin, the gold pin that, like I said, is in your folder. Caitlin Dent, Kelsey Allen, Stacy Severson, Scott Lavelle, Beth Stella, Matt Toussaint, Derek Roberts, Clark Squires, Lucas Hausman, Ashley Bigeman, Caleb Bradley, Evan Squires, Kelly Castricone, Mike Lamar, Kelly Jo Pritchard, Bridget Lashevsky, Eric Meeks, Andrew Inko, Brandon Norick, Mark Grimes, Lynn Zikovich, Kim Ike, Kayla Evans, Zach Reed, Rachel Lashevsky, Maggie Moriarty, Katie Graff, Isabella Petroboni, Margaret Barber, Sawyer Green, Keith Gilman, Lisa Husum, Ariel Lugo, Ashley Sawicki, Adrian Pizzoti, Jake Kepler, Lauren Cannon, Courtney Furness, Kaylee Farah, Jonathan Iverio, Tyler Evans, Holly Smith, Eric Whaling, Ashley Morgan, Jenna Keller, Rachel Heiler, and Ryan Anderson. The second service award is for members who have completed 8 seasons. So if you obviously have 7 seasons, you won't be recognized until next year. The second service award is for 8 seasons of marching band. The award is the minor M, which is also in your folders. Please stand when I call your name. Jamin Knowlton, Melissa Yeager, Kyle Regal, David Gray, Justin Myhill, and Ben Bentley. The third service award is for members who have completed 10 seasons of marching band. And this is where it gets, it's tremendous, and you have my complete respect for getting through this many seasons, because it's not easy. The award for this is the major M, which is also in your folders, and I'd like you to stand and be recognized when I call your name. Rachel Doberstein, Mike Mishra, Brendan Stacy, Andrew Delaney, Alex Baldwin, Anna Oakes, Ashley Dawson, Caitlin Miller, James Organishchuk, Stephanie Moran, Brittany Snyder, Cody Goodman, Katie Crossett, Joy Knowlton, Diana Baker, Ashton Watts, Katie Fearby, Drew Ogden, Josh Wheeler, Stephen Blount, Nathan Fox, Lindsay Regal, Arthur Gratton, Adam Heigenthaler, Heather Reichert, Rory Parker, and Matt Grimes. as I usually do, I'm going to skip the medallions at this point. The staff awards. Obviously, the student staff is extremely important to me. I look at them as extensions of us. And it's not at all times easy to do things that I ask. It's never easy to get on your friend and say, you need to get this done. That's never easy. If you haven't been on staff, you have no idea how difficult that is. And it's an unenviable task. But again, the student staff has done a great job. And I hope that the next student staff that I announce tonight will do an equally as good a job. We'll start with the section leaders. And she did a tremendous job. Very positive, which obviously I appreciate because I believe in that, doing things by positive reinforcement. She did a lot of little things for her section, and I know they all look up to her and her Mr. Francis. The flute section leader, Jolie Knowlton. Every year, what do I say? Clarinets are the marching the best. The clarinets are playing the best. And it's because they always have outstanding section leaders. And I said this last year about a section leader. Just one of the best section leaders I've seen. This is my 9th year being back and watching different student staffs, and I would definitely put her in the top 5. Actually, I'd put her in the top 3. Just tremendous. Tremendous how she teaches. She gets on when she needs to, and there's a reason her section is always the best at the shows. She knows what she's doing, and she walks the walk. If she's saying memorize your music, she's already had it memorized for weeks. So just a tremendous leader, and you're going to be truly missed. Clarinet section leader, Steph Moran. On to one of the most difficult sections to deal with, the saxophones. Just yet, that's truth, man. Lots of different personalities, and it seems like the age gap in that section is huge. And that's difficult to deal with when you have a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old. Trying to balance that out and be fair with discipline and trying to keep things equal so that you don't feel you're treating anybody different. And that's a difficult task in itself. And we deal with that every day. It's very, very difficult, but she's handled it well. And the saxophones had a great spring and finished the season strong. Saxophone section leader, Anna Oaks. Her second year, she did a good job last year. It's like gas. I looked from day 1 to the last day, the section that showed the most improvement, easily the trumpets. The last note the trumpets hit at Gorham, if you've heard the judges state, is phenomenal. If you have not heard the judges state the Gorham for Parade, unbelievable. When I think back to Jordan Eldridge, the first time we went out, I was not happy. But whatever he did, he finished it strong. And like I said, the trumpet sounded unbelievable all spring. And he did a great job. Trumpet section leader, Adam Heigenfeld. Trumpet section leader, she takes no crap from all the guys in that section, which I have a lot of respect for. It's got to be difficult. Whether you're a guy that's a female-dominated instrument or a girl playing a male-dominated instrument, but she's never cared, and she's always dealt with it. She's gotten on who she's needed to, and she set a great example. She set a fantastic example for the future tuba players on what needs to be done to perform and how you lead, and she's done a tremendous job. Tuba section leader, Caitlin Miller. Percussion, which is another tough section to deal with because it has Zach and Dave in it. But done a tremendous job, and I think towards the end of the season, he lost track of what I really feel about him. And I've said it before, and you can ask the other singer drummers. I could stand here and tell you probably at least the best snare student I've had. He passed me about a year ago, and I don't think we've had a snare lesson since because I just can't keep up anymore. So, and I don't think Mr. Clark would argue. Just absolutely one of the finest traditional snare players we've had in the time. Just absolutely phenomenal. And he's put in the work to do it. That's what's important for you younger people to understand. He put in the work to get to that point. So he's done a tremendous job. He's going to be missed. Head of percussion, Nathan Fox. The Price is Right theme song at band camp. Yeah, it was strange. But she did a great job. No section had more rookies. And just to come together, the pit music, you guys, you've heard all the shows we've done. What a difficult book to put together. And it was very difficult. And I don't have, she's done a great job as well as the two staff members that were with her. But the pit had a really great season, minus losing that kind of thing. I'm never going to let that go. But you've done a terrific job, sweetie. Pit section leader, Brianna Stein. It's an awful job in the sense of, okay, so you know how upset I get about that banner and even having like the smallest piece of crumb or anything on the floor. Who do I take it out on? Band managers. Even though I know it's not them, but they've done a great job. We had 4 of them. We're going to recognize all of them tonight. They've worked on buses. They've made trips to Fisher Price. They've repaired things. They've made extra trips when we forgot things. They've all done a great job. I'm very, 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 very proud of all 4 of them. The first one would like to recognize Matt Grimes. She's always like, what do you need? When Jazz hangs over in the morning, she was always resetting the room up. And like I said, she's done a great job. Adrienne Kazodi. Very, very feisty. There's like some nickname in there. I'm still working on it, but not afraid to get on people, and she does a great job. She's always around. She's one of the first people to always arrive at practice. Ashley Stewart. So, I don't suppose you need anything. And even came in today, he's like, so, I think it would be a good idea to let the new band managers clean the band. And I was like, absolutely not. So we put him to work. He was even working his final day, which that says a lot. The final band manager, Michael Bishop. When that happened. That was tremendous. And that spoke volumes about all of you. I think the world of all of you. You've done an incredible job with the amount of flags and things of the sort. And we were talking the other day, we're really going to miss all of you. So our first guard manager, I'd like to recognize Lindsay Regal. How is she going to deal with 10 or 11 other seniors that might be upset that they didn't get it? And I know there were some rough moments trying to deal with that. That can be very difficult to deal with. And there was some nights she had some tears, and I reassured her, you have my complete trust. You're doing a great job. Just stick with it. Please stick with it. And the fact that we didn't have a captain the previous year really set her behind a wall, because things had gotten out of hand a little bit for not having that position completed. But she's done a great job. I know Nora would reiterate all the things I'm saying. And it's truly, truly going to be missed. You've done a wonderful, wonderful job in this position. Your color guard captain, Heather Wright. I am very sad to see you go, and it's unusual for me not to shed tears over your drum major. I just have a feeling that he's going to beat it. That wagon's going to come flying in. You see that thing? Boom, boom. He's already asked, actually he's insisted, that he's bamboozled. So I'll give you Mr. Bidehill's reaction. That's true. So, you know, I think about, we always try to pick someone that we think will grow in the position. We talk about that. Who's going to benefit the most from this? Who's going to grow? And I think I said this a while back. Actually, I said it to your grandmother the other day. You walked into this position a boy, and I really, really feel you're walking out a man. I really, really feel that. And you're like my little bro. And I'm going to miss you tremendously. And I'm going to say some mushy stuff for the next section. But your drum major for the final time tonight, Arthur Gray. Memories and performances, friendships, and strange but true stories. I'd like to share some of them again, some of my favorites from the last 10 years, as well as things like this fellowship with you. Obviously, there's no way for me to condense 10 years. I could go on for hours, which I'm not going to do. And we've shared a lot of those over the past couple of weeks. Just going to hit on a few. And again, this is very difficult to try to limit this down. Put 10 years on a page and a half. The jazz band in 8th grade. Dawson's Powerful Aroma. Strange noises that Arthur made. You haven't heard the most common one? He just kind of looks at you and goes, "Brr." Meeting all of you for the first time. My first concert with you. In 4th grade. Playing saxomatic with Lauren. You may not remember me, but I sat in with that 4th grade band. I think I stood next to Lauren and Donald sang it. I forgot about that name, didn't I? It's a great feeling of knowing I was going with you to the middle school. 6th grade band. Playing hymn song for the first time. Playing hymn song for the last time. Frank having facial hair in 6th grade. That's true. That's true. My hugs with all of you before the parade at Gorham. Our band performance at JE. Our incredible bounce back performance at CNS. Every detail about the Corning show. Diana always telling me she had to miss practice, or she would be fired. Tara always being hurt, but performing through it. Aaron never dropping a field show. Caitlin and Rory's too as well. Hearing the train off in the distance, while in the parking lot practicing for corny east. Heidi's reaction to beating Norwich and Cornelia. In case you don't know what that is. Ashton's quietness. Discovering that Ashton is not quiet. Hearing about Josh's heads. Teaching Nathan to drum in middle school. Roxanne in the French horn. Magneto had way too much. Hillary's regional guard seat. Heather at the end of the varsity guard show at Whitman. My fight with Arthur. And then the words I exchanged with you, I go on. The dance ensemble's final walk. On the floor going. Kayla's flute solo. She played perfectly. Like going. Boston Market. Told this story over the weekend. Standing out in the field at Auburn. In unbelievable weather. Extremely bad weather. Ignoring Dave. Not being able to make up her mind and just saying, God, what do I do? And everything fell still. Then his strange humor. Torrential downpour for ESM. Brittany's beautiful voice bouncing off the Carnegie Stadium and the dome walls. Feeling of hearing Norwich announced in second. The tremendous weight that I felt lifted off me. When we finally won a championship. There's you running into the crowd. I can still see it perfectly. Conducting blue shades and turning away from the score and watching the set. Just play the heck out of that solo every time. Giving Lauren her nickname. Joy's incredible, incredible kindness. Talk Kelsey and I had about coming back to band. James and I putting things aside and ending things in a fantastic, fantastic way. How nervous Alex Baldwin would get in middle school during those lessons. He would shake and shake and shake. The letter Rory wrote me and left on my truck last year. Cody hated himself in video games. Katie yelling at me every time I tried to do something in the library or I messed it up. Those arm wrestling matches. The enormous pride I felt every time you kids nailed blue shade. final turn, the end of the dome. Section 4, the carrier dome. Knowing that you just won a championship without even hearing it announced. Seeing the nervousness on Alex Pat's face as she approached me about joining the band. Coming to winter guard practice this past winter, and the girls forgetting the guy was at practice. Very awkward. Having to pick a drum major from your class. Frank's explanation of how he loses his combat. The parade rested Gorham before we turned the corner. Hoping that time would stand still. I huddled before the final odyssey of my performance. The joy I felt seeing the expressions on your face after you won a championship. Getting under the tree before the parade at Gorham, wondering where the last 10 years went. Sitting in my office today, knowing that I have to go to work for the first time in my career. And you're not going to be there. And trying to figure out what it all means. What was the point of it all? And I can't find the answer. And I don't want to. I'm just going to sit and look at how much I enjoyed the 10-year ride. I'm going to look back with nothing but love and respect for all of you. And I can only hope it's not the end. All of you need to come up and accept your medallion. Megan Tuttle. Kelsey Cam. Josh Wheeler. Katie Thursday. Frank Bennett. Cody Good. Ed Heichthal. Aaron McKee. Katie Grosset. Ashley Wan. Roxanne Perkins. Taylor Brad. Alice Baldwin. Anna Oaks. Rory Carson. Nathan Fox. Diana Baker. Steve Blum. Joy Wilkins. Sarah Hayes. James O'Reilly. Brianna Steiner. Lindsay Regal. Ashley Dawson. Lauren Barber. Elizabeth Roberts. Caitlin Miller. Alexis Pass. Stephanie Moran. Heather Reagan. Rachel Hiley. Brittany Snyder. Arthur Gray. Now we're doing okay on time. Okay, I got another one. Now, I had to prove.
Alright. So, Diana. She was really bad. She's been picked on a lot today, but it's really funny. One time, she was late to guard practice, and we're like, Diana, what is it this time? She's like, well, I was out chopping wood for my dad. So, I asked my dad, I'm like, yeah, I need to get something for Diana. And, we found an axe for you. So, or whatever it is, yeah. So when you go to college and you need a little bit of home, you can go out to the woods and you should chop some wood. Make a little whatever. To go along with the bakers, when I first started gardening, I met Diana. I started to call her Bedaker, and I don't know why I named her Bedaker, but it has to be something with the beginning of her name being a D. I don't know, I just stuck it in there. So since Sam and Julie are now in the Guard, I just like to make it known that they are going to be called Bedaker and Besaker. So if you ever see them, make sure that's what you call them, because we got to keep that going.
So most of the Guard knows that I give them useless information, so I try to give this book of useless facts to Kelly Walsh to keep the Guard entertained.
Alright, so lately, me, Aaron, and Jenna Keller have been, like, not agreeing with each other. We've just been inseparable. So, me, Aaron, and Jenna were at Aaron's house the one night, and we had a bonfire, and we found a little frog, and we were kind of new to it. So, I got Jenna this frog. It was Jenna, she's the one who put it in. And Friday nights are our Banquet night. We are the Friday Banquet crew. I think they're pretty used to us. They know us by first and last name now. So, they know our orders by heart too. So, we can go in there and they would know. So, I got her a frog and an Banquet menu. That way she can have her frog and Banquet at the same time.
Alright, so we also have a survival kit. We have this person guard, who I'm not the only one who turned all the time. So we decided to give her some things that will keep her safe for her last year. Number one, a bicycle helmet. And she is expected to wear this at every practice, even in the summer room. In case anything happens, we have an ice pack, and an ace bandage, and band-aids, Garfield, of course. But now, this is called Who's Survival Kit. Because this isn't the only thing that she has left with that has happened to her. So, we were gonna get you a poncho, Alina, but we decided that we don't want you to get anything in your eyes, so we got you rubber duck goggles. And in case anything happens to your uniform again, we have Dollar General stain beyond. So come on up to Dollar General.
Something like that. What they failed to mention, at least I didn't hear it, that you get good and not so good prizes. Like, for instance, got one lemon with a slotted spoon. Scooby pasta. Frank ended up with a toilet brush. And, so, just an appreciation, I'm going to give a little gift to Brendan and Evan. You can come up and get the crappy prize that you gave to me. Come on down. Come on. It's a can of mixed vegetables. I don't really know when they expire. In fact, I think they did 3 years ago. So you can have this. Just keep it, burn it, put it away. And for the last award, this is the most disgusting visor ever. And it used to be mine. And I'll tell you why, because I just went about 3 years of band into this.
And one more we have before we do Mr. Hoffman 1 and Mr. Ballard is for Mrs. Snyder. No one really realizes how much work she puts into this. Like our slideshow is huge. It's what everyone looks forward to at our banquet every year. Okay, Arthur is sporting the wonderful new golf bag that we bought him. Along with the new golf bag, we do have the How to Cheat at Golf book. Because apparently his bag is in very rough shape and his scores are in rough shape as well. So that's also like I said for Miss Nora, that doesn't compare to anything you've done for us throughout the years, and I don't even know what to say. Just thank you for everything.
I gotta tell the story. If you golf, he is horrendous. I played him like 3 weeks ago. Mr. Bard versus me and Officer Kemmer. We get to this one hole. He gets so mad. You can't even talk to him. We get to, it was like a par 3. You understand those are the short ones? He is just whiff. Whack. I mean, the one thing, the ball just like, it went straight up, right back down. So he's hitting, I'm telling you, there's like this rule, you only take like, you can't take any more than 10. He's up to like 12. And he's like just about to the green. And he hits one where he's like, that's it, I'm done. Picks the ball up, he disappears. And he's just sitting over on the bench. It just sucked. And so I think Chad was keeping score, and he goes, he had to hit like 15. He's like, what do you want? Just give me a 10. I'm thinking 10. More like 20. You guys know. I just want to share that. He's pretty good.
Okay, and we saved the best for last. For Mr. Ballard, we did a few things this year. The first thing, I would like to thank my mom. She had a big part in the gifts that we put together for him. First, we bought 3 books for him, and which all of the seniors have signed the years that they were in. One for Billy Joel year, one for JFK, and one for Odyssey of the Mind. And the next gift, which I think is the most meaningful, is a scrapbook that we made. All the seniors made a page, and we put it together with all of our memories and pictures, and we wrote some things, and that's for you to enjoy. And lastly, actually second to lastly, it's kind of a bad substitute. We went through a lot to try and find you the perfect gift, and there was a big struggle with deciding on what we would choose, and we ended up with a director's chair, which we knew that you had wanted, and we figured it would serve great purpose in the band room. So that should be in soon, hopefully. I'm not sure when it's coming.
And then from the whole band, we all chipped in and we got you a wireless mic for field band. We know your socks.
as it is, it was extremely hard for me to write this and figure out how to say goodbye and thank you to the seniors. Because how could you put into words how deeply saddened we all are, and how strongly they'll be missed? So instead of trying to express it in words, everyone in this room should be thinking about this past year and previous years with the senior class. Remember band camp, how we started out hot, tired, and trying to put together one of the most complicated shows we've yet to face. Now remember the Dome. Remember how great it was to win the title we deserve, state champions. Now each one of you think of a senior that made this year or a previous year great for you. Think of the memories you shared with them. I know that there's at least one name that comes to mind, if not more. It is an extremely sad thing to have to say goodbye to the senior class this year, and they have no idea how greatly they will be missed. Not only are there more of them than there has been in previous years, but each one of them has brought such a unique quality and greatness to this band. You always hear that we are as strong as our weakest, but we are also influenced and made stronger by those who lead us. Each year, class leaves, and the junior class is expected to step up and fill the shoes of the missing seniors before them. This class had no trouble filling in those shoes, and they did an excellent job of it. Without them, we wouldn't be the band we are right now. A family that has been growing for the last 5 years, and after tonight, will never be the same family again. That's not to say, though, that they will leave each of us completely. Each one of them will leave something behind in each of us, and will never truly be gone. As for the juniors, we have some very big shoes to fill. And so we are brought to our year as seniors, and ready to hit it head on. It's a bittersweet feeling going into it, because it will be our last. I cannot begin to even fathom what is in store for us, and I cannot wait to get a start on what's to come. But as I said before, we have some very big shoes to fill. It is now our time to shine and to step up as leaders, something that we are all more than capable of doing. And with a new year comes new beginnings and fresh starts. I hope that everyone tries to do their best to give people a fresh start. Success comes from being unified and cooperating together as one unit. And only when we do this will we be able to have another successful and spectacular year. To the juniors, make this the most memorable year yet. We are the leaders now, the ones that are looked up to for guidance. All of us need to give that guidance and show that leadership and pride. Each and every one of us means something to this band, so we must all take the next step. This is a big year for us, and we have very big things in store for us. To the rest of the band, work your hardest. Someday you will understand what it's like to be in the position we're in, and you will all want the best from everyone. Try to improve on things this year that you had trouble with last. I encourage everyone to make this next year the best year yet, and try to surpass the leaps and bounds that came this past year. Strive for nothing less than all you can give. Don't be discouraged that some are leaving us, but rather be driven to fill in and step up to that level. If we want the title of state champions again, it's going to... When I realized that I had the responsibility of writing that blog, I didn't really know where to begin. How can we sum up 10 years of our lives in a few paragraphs? It's never easy to say goodbye, but I have to say that this is probably one of the hardest goodbyes many of us will ever make. These past few weeks, so many memories have replayed in my mind, and I'm sure I'm not alone. From the beginning, when we sang Pop Bottle Hold Down, we sang with Tootsie Rolls in our teeth. To this past weekend marching in our last parade. You've all heard before that you'll never understand until you're a senior, and I promise that is absolutely true. And to be completely honest, many of us are still having trouble understanding. Trouble understanding why it has to end, and where all the time went. So many times we were able to say next year, next time, next practice, and unfortunately we have no more. That hurts more than anything I've ever felt. Those times when you were wishing that practice would end, or that it was too rainy to be outside, or waiting to see if we still had to play in the football game. We wish that we could have more of those. This year has been absolutely unforgettable, and we have all of you to thank. We won field band championship, and we all kept saying it was our year. And spring rolled around, we prepared for the pageants, and the end just kept coming, and we ended the way we wanted.
But with that last circle we made on the field, Mr. Bailey had it absolutely right when he said that he didn't know how to let go. I've struggled immensely writing this speech, and I'm not sure that anything I say is good enough, and I realize it's because the same is for me, and the rest of the seniors, I'm sure. We don't know how to let it go. We want more, and we can't have it. But the end is inevitable, and we knew it all along. We just never thought that it would come. Next year we won't be with you. Artie won't be able to forget to take his hat off at the first show. Diana won't be walking around saying that she's going to get fired. Mason won't be threatening people's lives. And Dawson won't be the reason for the foul stench. We will be the ones sitting in the stands, being incredibly proud that we were once part of this band. The fact that we'll never again be able to put on those uniforms and stand with our heads high is unexplainably hard to cope with. Take a part of us with you so that we don't have to be completely gone. Remember the memories we've made and cherish them forever. Standing in the street at Gorham on Saturday, I looked around, and though it was rainy and cold, I wish we could stay there forever. Because I looked around and saw the family that we always speak about. Everyone was oblivious to the weather because we were together, and it was a moment that stood still for me, and I'll remember it forever. I want to say to the juniors not to take your last year for granted. Take it with a mindset to never wish a moment of it away because you will want it back. And be thankful for what you do, but you are so wrong. Please look around. So many of us are here because of you. You are an amazing teacher and you go far beyond what is expected, and we all think you're incredible because of that. You have given us shows that we can learn from, and not just music lessons, but life lessons as well. We all have so many memories of you, and I think you underestimate the person that you are. And the friendship you have given us will always be considered priceless. So, Mr. Ballard, please know that we all think the world of you, and that you deserve so much more credit than you give yourself. And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for the most memorable 10 years we could ever ask.